Travis Hunter, 9 days away from finding out where he's going to be playing his rookie season in the NFL. When asked what he would do if a team only allowed him to play one side of the ball, either wide receiver or cornerback, he told our Garrett Podell, "It's never playing football again because I've been doing it my whole life. I feel like I could dominate each side of the ball, so I really enjoy doing it." All right, Lige Douzable, Mike Renner, Pete Prisco are here. Lige, you're kind of snickering. I mean, what's he going to do?
I love that you said that because that's a foreshadow. I know he just did a deal with Snickers.
Did he really?
Yeah, so to me, like, that was a if you're hungry, why wait type of quote that he had right there. Are you really going to sit out of games if a team says we only want you to play receiver? No, you're not going to do that. But I love the confidence that he brings.
I mean, it's stupidity.
Stupidity?
If a team says you're going to play wide receiver, you play wide receiver.
Exactly.
If a team says you play corner, you play corner. You're not the coach. You do what they tell you to do. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It hurt him at times. Like, it hurt him at times that he was tired on the football field. So, like, yeah, maybe
he can. I will say this. He can play. I think more teams I talk to like him at wide receiver, and they're going to play him at wide receiver. If you play him at wide receiver, you can spot him in to play a few plays here and there on the defensive side of the ball. If you like him at corner, you can spot him in to play him a few plays at wide receiver. There's no chance in hell he can play both ways. Zero.
My thought was play him in goal line packages. Because even then you're not running a lot anyways.
Correct.
Like, if you're on the goal line defensively, the most you're moving is like maybe going on a drag route in man coverage. That's about it. But you're not going 40 yards downfield on a go ball having to run. So it really could save his legs in that regard.
But I know we talked about this earlier, Mike, where he's going to be slotted to go in the draft. All those teams need receivers. They don't really need corners. So you would think from day one his impact is going to be on the offensive side of the ball. And I think you play him at the star position, right? You could use his elite ball skills in the secondary where he's kind of free-flowing in the back end, and he's not just locked in at corner where he has to lock down a #1 receiver.
The bottom line is, whether he plays on the offensive side of the ball or he plays on the defensive side of the ball, he's the best player in the draft. And to me, it's not close. I think he would be an elite corner. He's got great skills, great ball skills. He will be an elite wide receiver. He is a truly, truly special player. But more than that, he loves it and he lives it, and that's the best part of him.
Much more on Travis Hunter and that quote on playing both sides of the ball at CBSSports.com. Garrett Podell putting together a nice article there. We asked you guys to come forward with your top 5 wide receivers in this draft. Pete, you said basically he's the best player in the draft. He'd be the best wide receiver. He'd be the best cornerback. But I believe there's somebody sitting up here that doesn't have him ranked as the #1 wide receiver in this class. Who is it?
I think that would be me. He's a unicorn. He's the best athlete in this draft. To Pete's point, the best player in this draft. To Mike's point, he talked about this earlier. I think it hurt him at times that he was playing both sides of the ball because he didn't really get to fine-tune his skill set on the offense or the defensive side of the ball. He's not really a crisp route runner, but he's just a freakishly God-given athlete in regards to having so much suddenness at the line of scrimmage to create separation. We talked about his elite ball skills. You go to that North Dakota State game. I don't know how he caught that ball in the red zone. It was almost like a glitch because the ball was thrown inside and his body was outside and he was able to pluck it out of the air. That shows you the elite ball skills. I have Ted McMillan as my #1 receiver, but Travis Hunter is the best player in this draft.
Pete, you don't even have Ted in your top 5, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Where?
I forget where I put him, but he's not. You got to put the list up. I think he's 4th. Yeah, I mean, he's 4th.
There you go.
Yeah, I love Travis Hunter. I think he's special. I like Matt Golden. Matthew Golden, I think, again.
Speed kills.
Yes, and I think Quinn Ewers was hurt last year and couldn't drive the ball. I think that hurt his numbers a little bit. Buka to me, is going to be a big-time wide receiver on the next level. He's going to step in and play right away and become a productive player. McMillan is interesting because he's got great hands. He's got a great feel for the game, but he doesn't run that well. And if you look at the guys that don't run that well, I know he's a big guy. What's his ceiling? Drake London? Is that his ceiling?
I mean, that's 1,100 yards.
What's his floor? Bad Mike Williams, and there were 2 of them that both were slow and didn't play very well. So I think when you look at it, there's a lot of concerns about Tech McMillan, and I think his speed is #1.
Well, I'm curious because at #5, you had a guy who might be the slowest receiver in this draft class,
That's
Jack
true.
Besh. I mean, he didn't run pre-draft. He did everything else pre-draft, but run 40.
Jack Besh will be such a productive NFL receiver from the slot. It's going to be amazing. You watch. He's going to be
I'm not debating that. I'm just saying he's going to run slower than Devin
Speed is slow, yeah. Now, he's a heck of a player, and he never drops anything, so I like him. I wouldn't put him in my top 5. 5. But again, when it comes to Ted McMillan, I liken him to a power forward in basketball. The way he's able to box out smaller corners, go up and high point the ball. Nobody high points the ball better than Ted McMillan in this draft. And when you talk about 50-50 jump ball, for him it's like 80-20 because he tracks the ball so well and is able to plug it out of there. I know people will talk about his speed, but when you look at him on over routes, he separates from corners, so he has enough speed. I hear what you're saying, Pete. Is his ceiling Drake London? I mean, Drake London had like 1,100 yards last year, so I mean, it's a pretty good season if you're asking me. I think he's a little bit better than Drake London coming out of college, though.
Yeah, and Drake London went 8 overall, and that's like, they're not complaining about drafting
Correct.
Drake London 8 overall. I think he's that caliber of player, and I think in some ways he's actually better than Drake London. The guy's fluidity, his ability to avoid contact along his routes, and then his ability to stop and cut at that size is just unique to me, and it gives him
your number one?
a super high floor. No, Travis Hunter's my number one. Travis Hunter's a good unicorn.
Okay,
That
well,
guy's-
Ted's number 2 on
number
Mike's list, but let's go down to number 3 on Mike's list because I think Pete's going to have a little rebuttal for this. It's Luther Burden. Mike, first, you get first word here. Why do you like him so much out of Missouri?
It's just the talent. I mean, I can see the negatives. He is one of the biggest boomer bust prospects in this draft class. I don't know why he does not run routes better because to me, there's nothing physically limiting him from being an elite route runner. You see movement skills that are off the charts, but then you're like, he only had like 600 yards last year? He had more broken tackles after the catch than he had first downs. I don't think I've ever seen a guy have that stat line for an entire season, maybe one game, but that's just like completely unproductive. And the quotes that have come out about him is that he's, a guy that just didn't develop from day one, a 5-star who was talented enough to get by. But that's not going to get by at the NFL level. So I agree. If you're going to be low on him, I'm not going to argue. But the talent is the second best talent after Travis Hunter in this class.
I don't see suddenness either, though. I know he's a physical player, and I don't see it. And by the way, you talk about not development. That there's knocks on him and that he didn't practice very much and practice very hard. That's a concern as well. So I just don't love him. I see there's talent there, but I just don't love the game.
I think if he falls to the second, that's the best thing that can happen.
That'd be good for him.
If he gets drafted 10th overall, 12th overall, that's probably the worst thing.
By the way, you're number 5, Kyle Williams. I really like him. I considered him at number 5 too. I think Kyle Williams he's a great route runner.
I'll say he might be the best separator in this draft. But going back to Luther Burden, I call him the slot fade assassin. This is a guy that adjusts to the ball really well. Now, people will say he's not a crisp route runner, but he just finds ways to get open. And he's just a really good football player. To your point, he's physical, Pete. We saw those highlights right there. Nobody ever brings him down. The first defender never brings him down. So if you like guys like Deebo Samuel who went in the second round, so that's where I think Luther Burden will go. He's just a good football player. You just got to get the ball in his hands.
But Deebo Samuel's not sudden either.
That's a lot. He was sudden when he came out.
He gets up to speed fast, though.
Yeah, but he's
Deebo Samuel like a 1.48-10 split.
Yeah, but he doesn't play sudden. He does not play sudden.
But
not anymore.
But DBs make business decisions when they tackle him, so that's the thing.
If you compare Luther Burden to Deebo Samuel?
No, Deebo's a unicorn. He's so big that just like other wide receivers, unless you're like 220 pounds, you're not Deebo Samuel.
Let's get back to Liege's list because there's somebody at number 4 who I don't believe is on either one of Mike or Pete's list.
Disrespect.
And it's Jaden Higgins from Iowa State. I saw a ton of him. I love that pick.
This guy's going to be a star. I mean, you talked about T-Max fluidity. At 6'4", the way Jaden Higgins is able to get in and out of breaks, you should not be able to do that at that size. And then, guys, I went back and looked at his film, and he had 9 receiving touchdowns. I believe all 9 were in the red zone. So you talk about a weapon in the red zone. You see it right there. He's able to get behind defenders. I think he ran like a 4.45 at 6'4", which is uncommon for guys that big. Look at it. Jump ball, back shoulder. That's what he can do in the red zone from day one. He's a guy I've been hearing a lot of buzz going early in the second round. I think he will be a nice piece on your offense. I think he's one of the most underrated players. I think he's going to be a star in the NFL.
There's been some late first round too lately. So
but y'all don't like him enough to put him in the top 5?
I think for someone like Buffalo, this is a much better option for you than like what they went with Keon Coleman last year. Like they're similar. Like you look at just the weight, size, weight, speed, whatever, and you might think they're similar. No, Jaden Higgins is a much better separator. He gets off the line of scrimmage much better than Keon Coleman did. To me, he's more of like the Michael Pittman, T. Higgins guys that went at the top of the second than the Keon Coleman.
I'm so glad you said it because that was my comp for him, Michael Pittman. And Michael Pittman went top of the second round. So
no Mecca Egbuka in Liege's top 5.
That. But,
I think he's a good player. I just don't like him better than those guys that I have in my top 5.
I talked to a couple guys last night that think he might be better than Smith and Jigma. That's high praise.
I don't think any Ohio State receivers would say that. Exactly. I don't think any Ohio State receiver would say that.
I'm telling you, there are guys out there.
And I love Becker because he's a hell of a competitor. He gets after you blocking, and he's just a good football player as well. But I don't think he's better than those 5 guys I put on that list.
Yeah, I think he's a very good slot receiver.
Yeah.
He's very savvy. He is not a guy that gets open on his own the way Jackson Smith-Njigba did.
There's going to be a lot of good receivers in this draft.
I agree. I think it's gotten underrated.
It's underrated. It's
a lot of number 2 type of receivers.
There's no elite guys other than Travis Hunter, I don't think, but there's going to be a lot of good receivers in the draft.
How many in the first round, we think?
4.
You think 4?
Well,
I was going to say 3.
Well, you might get one of those guys to sneak in the back end.
Yeah.
If you count Travis Hunter, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like forget about it.
He's
amazing.
a unicorn, bro.
That's amazing. He's a receiver.
On the very latest With the First Pick podcast, it is the team needs draft, the biggest needs for each and every NFL team, including yours.